The investigation into the arrest of 32-year-old Nathan Kempter of Highlands Ranch, Colorado for child enticement is continuing. The 14-year-old female was reunited with her family on Saturday morning. At 5:20 p.m. on Friday, August 2nd, the Lincoln Police Department responded to a home in the 2500 block of South 74th Street on the report of a 14-year-old female last seen around 5 p.m. The first officer arrived at the residence 2 minutes after we received the call. The initial investigation found that the female had been corresponding with individuals who were potentially out of state, and she may have been enticed into leaving her home. Based on the information we received, officers entered the missing juvenile into local and national databases just after 6 p.m. This entry enlisted the assistance of all law enforcement agencies in the nation. As we continued to learn details from her parents through interviews with a friend and through preliminary analysis of electronic evidence, officers from all of our geographic teams were searching locations where we suspected the juvenile may be for a red sport utility vehicle. It was initially suspected, based on interviews, that she may have been corresponding with an adult male from Texas. And this is how we learned that potentially the red SUV that had been reported may have Texas plates. Based on this information, but without confirmation of the suspected vehicle description or that it had a Texas license plate, we enlisted the help of our media partners at about 7:38 p.m. This brought about a response where the 14-year-old's photo was shared across countless social media platforms, and I want to extend the appreciation of the Lincoln Police Department to all of you and to everyone that shared this information. At 7:47 p.m., we obtained enough investigative details to issue an endangered missing advisory. As time continued to pass, we worked with our law enforcement partners to expand the dissemination of information through an Amber Alert. And the specific criteria that we are bound by is listed and described on the Nebraska State Patrol's website for both endangered and missing advisories and for Amber Alerts. We continued throughout the night to learn information from the family that was eventually corroborated through our analysis of the 14-year-old cellular phone that had begun in the infancy of this investigation. This initiated processes with telecommunication providers and moved our focus then to Nathan Kempter. We worked with law enforcement in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, and the missing juvenile was found just after midnight on Saturday, and that's when Nathan Kempter was also taken into custody. On early Saturday morning, 2 investigators from the Lincoln Police Department flew to Colorado, where they have been working with law enforcement to conduct interviews, search the vehicle, the home of Kempter, and seize evidence related to this crime. So as is our practice, we have debriefed on how we can improve our responses to critical incidents like these in the future. In this case, we learned after the examination of digital records that had been provided to us by the family and had been corroborated through our look at her cell phone that Nathan Kempter was not driving an SUV and did not have Texas plates. We later learned that the release of this information and the expanded dissemination through an endangered missing advisory and the Amber Alert created a situation where a large number of callers with the best of intentions created a situation where our resources were focused on triaging the numerous reports that were coming in to our dispatch and investigative units. None of this information, in this case, assisted in locating the missing juvenile. We will continue to evaluate our practices and policies to improve our services in the future. And I also think it's important for us to point out that on Friday, when we initially responded to the report of a missing person, that we worked 7 additional missing person cases on Friday alone. Now, all of them, it takes time and effort to be able to triage, to take a deep look at what are the facts and circumstances behind this particular incident. And just like this one, that definitely escalated, where the 14-year-old was enticed from her home and driven by an adult male to a residence in Colorado. We really need to evaluate our responses based upon the individual facts and circumstances of each case.